Mr. Transformers 96 here for the video, and I'm going to be doing an update on my Hot Toys pre-order list. So I do this, every few months usually. I'll just give you an update on the Hot Toys that are currently on pre-order, and break them down between the ones that I have physically pre-ordered, the ones that I'm heavily thinking about pre-ordering, and then the ones that I'd like, but I'm probably not going to end up getting. This list changes, time to time, just because obviously there's new figures being shown, there's new figures being released, and then also just sometimes after maybe a movie scene or just generally as life goes by, my opinion and my desire for particular characters really adjusts. There's been characters on the list that are in the want but probably won't get category that I absolutely end up getting, and then there's also ones that I'm like on the cusp of pre-ordering and just don't end up pre-ordering. So things really change heavily, so that's why I like to do this update every few months. It's kind of fun to just get an updated list. So let's get started here. So now this time, one thing, if you've watched these consecutively, you'll notice that my pre-orders have really gone up and up and up on my category of the ones that I have 100% on pre-order, because I think maybe a year ago, if you watched, there's at one point where it only had 3 on pre-order, just Iron Man, Thor, and Captain America. And then since then, it's slowly grown and grown. The last time I did this list on the pre-order section, I had 8. And then this time, two of those 8 have been released and came out, and now I have 11 in total, even taking out the 2 that were released. So I've pre-ordered a lot lately, to be honest. There's just been a ton that I've pulled the trigger on. So let's talk about it. So some of the kind of returning ones that were on here last time. We've got Venom, which I actually just noticed today looks like is sold out, even though he's starting to be released physically, overseas for sure. In the States, I believe he's just starting to come out, but he looks like he's sold out. I think the release of the movie kind of put the nail in that coffin. So I'm very happy I do have that one on pre-order, as I definitely want the figure, and now it looks like it's going to be a bit hard to get. Then I did get Boba Fett. Now, Boba Fett I really went back and forth on, because there's so many different versions. You've got the clean version standard, the clean version with the throne, you've got the damaged version, you've got the damaged version 2-pack with his unarmored look. So there were so many different variations of Boba Fett, and not to mention, there's the thought of, well, he's got his own show coming out here soon, so will he have an even better or different look, and what kind of hot toy can maybe we be expecting from that show? So I went back and forth for quite a while. The thing that made me pull the trigger, because otherwise I would have waited, but what made me pull the trigger is that with the clean version of Boba Fett, he was a part of the convention exclusives, and they each had an exclusive item. That exclusive item, though, was only available for the week of the convention. So I waited until the very last second before making my decision and purchasing it, but in order to get that exclusive item, I needed to pre-order it then. So that's what I did. I ended up pre-ordering the deluxe version. So this is the version that comes with the unmasked head sculpt and the throne. So I'm pretty happy with that choice. It's not, I wish that I felt even more secure and happy about it, but I'm at the same time liking the damaged version and all sorts of things. But I do have this version on pre-order. Then we have Marty from Back to the Future. I personally am a Back to the Future fan. I do very much like the movie. However, I'm not, if it was just me, I don't know if I'd be purchasing this figure. I like it, but I don't know if it would be worth it. However, my wife is actually a huge Back to the Future fan. It's her favorite movie, so she really wanted that one. So we've got that one on pre-order to have a bit of a Back to the Future display going on. So I did see that figure in person, because this is kind of a reissue. It's got an updated, paint sculpt. It's got some updated clothes. It comes with the Einstein accessory, which I don't like the Einstein accessory. Hot Toys just isn't very good when it comes to doing animal side accessories, just like Goose from Captain Marvel. They just don't look very good. But I did get to see the original one in person at Universal Studios a few years back, and it did look really cool at the time. So I am actually very excited to own that in the collection. And then we've got just some of the Endgame, Trinity characters that I've had on pre-order forever now. We've got Thor from Endgame and the battle-damaged Iron Man. Very much looking forward to both of those. Thor, I would hope, is shipping soon. He's been out overseas for very long now. Then we've got Wanda from the WandaVision shows, particularly her Scarlet Witch look. Very excited for this figure. The more I'm hearing about Doctor Strange 2, the more I'm wondering if that version is going to be even better, though. So I'm pretty excited, because obviously she's going to go a little evil in that movie. So if they do a really cool evil version of her, might have to pick that up as well. But after the WandaVision, series completed, that was a must-have for me. Then we've got a couple of Shang-Chi characters. These are new ones on the list as they went on pre-order recently with the release of the film Shang-Chi. I really enjoyed the movie. Might be my favorite movie of the year, at least from a blockbuster standpoint this year. Really enjoyed that quite a bit. Had to get both the main hero and the main antagonist. Great movie, and some nice looking figures. I've heard people say that these are boring figures. I don't get that. I mean, they've got great head sculpts, the both of them, and they come with so many cool accessories for the rings. It just looks like a ton of fun. And not to mention, since they're martial artist type of characters, the poses you can put them in are so much fun, and because of that, the design of the costumes have more play than usual, so articulation should be really good. So, I've heard so many people call these boring figures. I think these are going to be some of the funnest figures once they come out, but that's just me. Then we've got a Shore Trooper. I went back and forth about ordering which version of the Shore Trooper to order. I did end up going with the standard one. Then Taskmaster, of course. I know some people disappointed with the portrayal in the film. However, I like the design of the character, and I'm a big Marvel villain fan, so that's a must-have. And lastly, King Shark. This was a day one pre-order for me. I was very excited for this to go on pre-order, and then to find out that they were doing a power pose, so there was no rubber, as well as, because of that, it was super cheap. Like, that's the cheapest figure on this list, I think, and he's the biggest. That's just super exciting, so can't wait for that King Shark. And actually pretty surprised that it doesn't look like, they might end up doing some, but it doesn't look like they're doing anybody else from the movie, which is crazy, because it's not even like, well, they've shown them at conventions, but they haven't gone on pre-order yet. It's been a long time. It's that it's been a long time, and they haven't even shown anybody else at a convention, so I think that might do it for the line, which is a little unfortunate. Now, moving on to the category of thinking about ordering. So these are the ones that are kind of, oops, sorry about that, folks. I accidentally opened up another slide there. I'm so sorry. So these are the ones that I am really wanting, like, when the next ones that I pre-order will probably be some of these. That's kind of where this is at. These are the ones that, on varying degrees of will most likely get to, probably will get. So starting off to the left, Carnage. This is a must for me, although the film was a little disappointing for me personally, and the portrayal of Carnage was not the best. It's not really... Carnage is my favorite Marvel Comics character. He's the character that I wanted to see in live action since I was a little kid, so I had high hopes and expectations, so because it wasn't quite met, I was a little disappointed overall with the version of Carnage that we got in live action. However, I'm such a big Carnage fan, even with not being super ecstatic with everything that happened with him in the film. Overall, that's a must-have. So I just haven't pre-ordered it yet, and one of the big reasons actually is because I'm a little in the air on whether to get the standard version or the deluxe version with that Venom bust. I'm going back and forth on which one I should do, but that one is one that will 100% be pre-ordered by me. And then we've got two that kind of go together. We've got Moff Gideon and the Dark Trooper. The Dark Trooper is one that I think I am going to get, although at one point, this actually on my last, if you watched the last video I did, that he was in the next category, the probably want, but most like, or excuse me, the ones that I want, but probably won't get. However, I've bumped him up. I'm thinking that I should get him, because I think that he might be another kind of Death and Shore Trooper situation from Rogue One, where the really cool troopers didn't end up getting them. They sold out and went way up in price, and I regretted it ever since. So I'm pretty sure that'll happen with him. So to avoid that, I think I will be purchasing him. Moff Gideon, I'm really up in the air about. I don't know. I could go either way on him. Some days I feel like it's worth it. Some days I don't. So not 100% sure. But nice looking figure. Then we've got Doc. This is one that I haven't pre-ordered, and he doesn't come out for quite a while. But I think most likely I'll end up getting to go with Marty. I think he's a little overpriced, though. That's one thing that's disappointing and kind of holding me back a bit. it, but it's hard to have Marty without Doc, so I think that I'll definitely be getting Doc to kind of go with Marty specifically. Then we've got Falcon in his Captain America look. That's one that I'm a little up in the air about. I think it looks great, but not 100% sure if I need it. I have a Falcon already, but obviously huge costume change, so it's a little hard to decide. Then we've got a Harley Quinn. This is one I'm not 100% sure if I need, but I do really like the look of. Well, the costume I didn't love in the film. However, it's grown on me as time went on, so I'm kind of liking it. I think that the articulation looks spectacular. I think she'll be a really fun figure. I think that this face sculpt is good. Although the other version of the Birds of Prey Harley Quinn figure, I would probably prefer when it comes to costume alone. The face sculpt I'm not a fan of. So that's why I'm leaning towards this one. And then lastly, Mark V. This is one that I've missed out on a few times in the past, and I've always kind of wanted it, although I know that I don't need another Iron Man armor, so it's a little bit of a toss-up because of that. But I've been considering it for quite some time. Moving on, though, to the ones that I want but probably won't get. Starting off, War Machine. He was in the category above this last video I made. However, since then, I've actually purchased War Machine from Infinity War, and that's just a great figure and a great representation of that character. So because of that, I probably don't need this version, even though I like the design of this. The two Visions, I like them, but it would be hard just to get one, and if you get them both, they're very expensive, obviously, and they're basically the same figure, so it's hard to justify. So I'm interested, but probably won't end up getting them. Just like I said when I talked about the Boba Fett that I have on pre-order, I'm super tempted by the Battle Damage one, so I'm a little still up in the air about everything when it comes to Boba Fett. Luke looks great. I love his deluxe destroyed Death or Dark Trooper accessory. I think that's really cool. A figure that I like but probably won't get, just like all these on here. Then we have Ahsoka. Ahsoka, I really like the figure. She would definitely be in the category above this if she didn't have rubber shoulders. The fact that she has rubber shoulders annoys me to all end. I don't like rubber, so that's why she's lower here. If they did another version of her, particularly maybe from her own show once that comes out, I eventually, what I'm basically saying is I think eventually I'll get a live action Ahsoka Hot Toys figure in my collection, but due to the rubber, this probably won't be the one, even though I do want an Ahsoka. Then we've got the Short Trooper with the blue highlights. This is on here because although I have another another Short Trooper on pre-order, I like the blue design. This one is very much Rogue One, so it's tempting, but it's hard to pay Hot Toys prices when you have something so similar already on pre-order, just like the Vision kind of situation. And then lastly here we've got the Arkham Harley. This is a figure that just like Ahsoka would be higher. I would be in the next category. And she's actually just releasing overseas right now, so this is a figure that's going to be coming out kind of soon. But what's holding me back is the same thing as Ahsoka, is those rubber arms. Not a fan of the fact that she has rubber arms, and it kind of ruins it for me, to be honest. But there you go, that's my probably won't get but want Hot Toys, the Hot Toys that I'm strongly thinking about, the Hot Toys that I have pulled the trigger on and pre-ordered. So there you go, that's my list as a whole. I'm very excited for the ones that I have on pre-order, and just trying to work out which ones to pre-order next. So also with the Eternals film coming out, I don't know if I'm going to get any of the Eternals figures. That's definitely going to be have to watch the movie first before any decisions are made for that. But I'm certainly excited to see what Hot Toys has up their sleeve. And as far as What If, although they've put a few of those figures on pre-order and shown some more, the only What If figure that I would consider is the Infinity Ultron, and they haven't shown that figure at all. So who knows if they'll actually do that figure. But if they did that one, I'd consider it. The other What Ifs, though, not really for me. And then, of course, Spider-Man will boost this list to all hell. Depending on how large the Spider-Man line is, will depend on how many I get, but I'm very worried because I feel like I would need the Spider-Man Trinity as well as the Sinister Six, and if they legitimately made all of them, that's 9 figures right there, so just pray for my wallet. But there you go. That's my updated pre-order list. Again, I do this every few months, so I'll be doing it again, especially once the Spider-Man figures are shown, and, with the film coming out in December, most likely they'll start showing in December, so you can probably expect an update in December or January. But let me know what you guys think of my choices and the Hot Toys that you guys are looking forward to, and thanks so much for watching.